Hi guys, this is Margaret with Desserts on Delicious, and I'm bringing to you a series on how to make cake pops. Now before we begin making cake pops, I want to show you some of the tools that you're going to need to get started. Now, when I started making cake pops about 5 years ago, this was the book that I purchased. It's by Bakerella. It has over 40 tips, tricks, recipes on things you need to do to make your cake pops. So definitely check this out. This one I picked up at Target. However, you can purchase it on Amazon. I'm sure it's in your local bookstore as well. Now, to get started with cake pops, always have some food safe gloves available because you will be working around cake or food and you want to just make sure things are safe for your customer. Now, when it comes to making cake pops, the first thing you gotta have is cake. Now in this bowl, I have my delicious red velvet cake. It's nice and moist, and I'm gonna show you in the next video how to crumble it, and you're gonna combine it with frosting. Now in this bowl, I have cream cheese frosting. So I'm gonna use this as my binder and roll it and mix it all together. And again, it's gonna be in the next video, so you'll see exactly how I put it all together. Now once I put my cake pops or roll my cake pops and I put them in the refrigerator to kind of set up so that when I'm ready to actually dip them, you always want to have some cake pop sticks available. Now these cake pop sticks I purchased at Michael's, but you can also purchase cake pop sticks at Hobby Lobby, Joann's Fabrics, and even Walmart. Okay. And they come in various sizes. They come in 4-inch. These are 4-inch sticks, but they come in 4, 6, and 8 inches. Now, once you have your sticks, the next thing you're going to need is a microwavable bowl to melt your candy melts. This one I picked up at the Dollar Tree. And I like this because it has a top on it. So once I've melted down the candy melts, when I'm ready to store the leftovers, I can pop the top on and store them in a safe place. Now, the fun part, your candy melts. Candy melts come in all different colors. These are a few that I have on hand today. Now, with candy melts, my go-to is always Wilton because it's easily accessible. You can pick it up at Walmart, Joann's, as well as Michael's. Now, Hobby Lobby does sell a different brand, but any candy melts would do. Now, once you've melted down your candy melts, well, before you melt them down, make sure you're reading the directions on the back on how to melt down the candy melts. Now, with candy melts can be sometimes a little bit temperamental. And what I mean by that is that sometimes when you melt them down, it's a little bit thick. And you don't want it too thick when you're dipping your cake balls, because once you dip and try and pull it out, the cake may fall off the stick, and you don't want that to happen. So you're gonna need something to help you to kind of liquefy it or thin it out a little bit more, so that when you dip it and pull it out, you're not gonna run into any problems, and the cake ball will come out nice and smooth. Now, one of the things that I use is Paramount crystals. Now, I know you're asking, well, what are Paramount crystals? I picked Paramount crystals up at a local cake supply store called Cake Art here in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Now, what are Paramount crystals? It's basically Crisco that they shave down into little crystals. So you can add as much to the candy melts as you like in order to kind of liquefy it, to thin it out so it's at a consistency that will allow you to dip and easily pull out the cake pops without any problems. Another thing I like to have on hand, if you don't have the Paramount crystals, you can use vegetable oil. That's another good go-to item to utilize to kind of thin out the candy melts. I also like to have on hand toothpicks. And the reason why I like to have on hand toothpicks is because sometimes my candy melts have little bubbles in them, and I need to pop those little bubbles. And you'll see if I have, in the next video, if I have some of the bubbles in the candy melts as I'm dipping in and pulling them out, you'll see how I utilize the toothpicks to help get off any type of excess candy as well as pop those bubbles. Now, what do I use in order to actually form my cake balls? I use these two little tools right here. Just kind of depends on how my day is going as to which one I use. This one I picked up at Bed Bath & Beyond, probably for about $2 or $3. This one here I picked up, I think at Dollar General many years ago. And I like this one because it allows me to make 5 cake balls really quickly. And so when I have a big customer order, this is the one I utilize most often because it will allow me to make a lot of cake balls very fast, saves me time, and I pop them in the freezer. The final thing that you want to have is a styrofoam base. You definitely need a styrofoam base because you need something that will hold the cake pops upright when you're allowing them to dry. So make sure you pick up some type of styrofoam base. And again, this is something you can pick up, maybe a smaller version of this, at the dollar store. So just stay tuned. I'm going to have lots of different videos coming up on how to make cake pops. You'll see from the very classic cake pops that I do to some that's a little bit more intricate. I have a recent order that I'm going to be making karate and ninja inspired cake pop. So definitely stay tuned and check that out. Now before I go, I want to shout out, you guys like my shirt? I love this shirt here. My girl at Uniquely Yours designed it for me. And so I'm going to make sure that I list her IG page in the comments below. So definitely check her out as well. I look forward to bringing to you a wonderful series on how to make cake pops. So stay tuned for the upcoming videos.